When I was 9 years old, I found myself in the room of the principal of my school. And it's pretty daunting, but it was fun because she asked me a question. What do you enjoy doing? I was clear to me that she knew that I really didn't enjoy studying. And so I told her I love sports. And I could see from the frown on her face that she wasn't happy about that answer. She wasn't happy about that answer. And that's the theme of what I heard all through life, that when you were younger, that what really mattered was academic performance. And that's something my sports loving brain could not comprehend. I could not understand how that would define, right? And as through the years, I was told that the key to success was getting good grades, getting into a good college, and that's what bring you to a real success in life. But my grades kept declining, and so did my confidence, to the point where finally, after much attempts, I got into a good college. And there I was told, this is the turning point. If you do well in college, this is the springboard to life. That's how you get to really make something meaningful of your life. But I was in first year of college, I remember, and I went on a trek with a few friends. And that was like a whole new world was open to me. I was in the wilderness, and every step felt like a step higher. I felt more confident. I felt I was challenging myself. Truly felt like every time I pushed myself, the real battle was within me. The more I pushed myself, the more confident I felt. And the more I felt like I was proving something to my own self before others. And soon this became my passion. Climbing mountains, being in the mountains, and I was obsessed. I would go off in the summer for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months climbing all over the Himalayas. But soon college ended and I gained enough confidence to be an entrepreneur. And I became quite successful at it. But my passion was still truly the mountains. And all this love for mountains finally led me in 2013 to be on an expedition to climb Mount Everest. I was with a group of 4 people. They were all professional climbers. They'd all summited Everest before. I was the novice. And let me tell you the crux of climbing Mount Everest. It's 2 months. It takes you 2 months. It takes you a lot of training. It takes you a fair amount of skill. Uh, but the biggest thing is that it takes a great amount of determination. You got to be mentally very, very strong, right? And you need a good amount of luck too, because there are lots of accidents. And one of the key parts of climbing Mount Everest is you go through a place called Khumbu Icefall, which is, let me try to describe it to you, a few football fields of ice, blocks of ice, some of them big like a house, and they're moving slowly. Some of them crash, and they're big crevasses, as so big that if you fall in one of them, you're sure to die. There's no chance that somebody's going to find you there. And when I was going up Khumbu Icefall, the second last time, on my way to the summit, I lost my balance and I fell in a crevasse. And there were 2 ropes that I was clipped onto. One of them snapped. And here I was, hanging on Khumbu Icefall in a crevasse by a rope. And my whole life flashed in front of me because I knew there was no way I would survive. But 30 seconds, all I could think of was my family, God, and I thought that's how this will end. And that's how, this story will kind of end. But I was very lucky. One of my partners was a very experienced climber and rescuer. And he saw that I was not there. So he came back and he pulled me out. But then came something even more difficult. I was completely shaken, but I had to make a decision. Do I go and keep climbing up, or do I come back down? And that's a tough decision to make when you're paralyzed by fear. I don't know what the 9-year-old Hemant would have done. But at that moment, I decided to go on. A week later, at 4:30 in the morning, I reached the summit of Mount Everest. It was minus 50 degrees, but it was magic. It was, I saw the sun come up and I could see the earth and the curve of the earth. It's so high. So it was magic. And I came back, and a few months later, I was reflecting and I realized what had happened. My passion for whatever I wanted to do, and in this case, climbing mountains or being in the mountains, had given me so much. It had given me joy, it had given me contentment, it had given me opportunities to challenge myself. But most of it, it had given me an opportunity to build my confidence. And then, 3 years later, I was sitting having breakfast and I watched the news in great horror that 10 soldiers of the Indian Army were buried in Siachen for several days and they could not be found. And nobody could rescue them. And I just could not live that thought, because I felt like, how is it possible that the soldiers that do so much for us, and when people like me and others could be rescued from the most difficult spots in the world, why could not they be helped in some form? And I got obsessed again. And 2 months later, I found myself sitting in front of a few generals of the Indian Army with a plan on how we could make a difference. How if we could help people on Everest, on Lhotse, on K2, why could not we help these soldiers? And several discussions later, several meetings later, and for many reasons, I took up the challenge of creating India's first mountain rescue organization, first professional mode. And I decided we will dedicate this to the Indian Army, and we will do it without any cost to them. And that started a new journey. My passion had a new life. In 2016, we founded what's called Tiranga Mountain Rescue. And we deployed in the winter of 16 with 5 teams. They would stay with the soldiers in the difficult posts, train them, rescue them. And over these years, we would gradually increase our capability to see what could happen. But we had a lot of challenges. First, nobody believed that it would be accepted. Why would the army accept somebody else to come rescue them? Why would your guys be better than the rest? How would you sustain it? It would cost a lot. But I'll be honest, none of this bothered me. I had one thought. If I could save one life, just like my life is saved, it would be worth it. So we went about on this journey and built about this organization. And in 2025, today, we are 15 teams. We are deployed all across the Himalayas, from Gulmarg till Tawan. Every winter, we are there for 6 months. We go to 200 posts every winter. We train 10,000 soldiers every year, over 10,000. We are the official rescue service of the Indian Army. And here is the the wonderful part. Since 2020, since we got full control of managing rescue, until 2025, this year, the reduction in death rate has been 90%. And 2024 was the first year since 1984 that there was zero casualty. Every year since 1984, we lost 40 to 50 soldiers. And since 2020, that number has come down dramatically. And here is what I think was most valuable, that I never imagined any goals. I didn't set up big goals. I didn't set up anything. This is what I did. I focused on my passion. I focused on small steps that I could do. I focused on something tangible that could make a small difference. One life. That would be enough for me. And today, out of these 15 teams, we have 11 people who have climbed Everest. All of them have climbed 7,000 or 8,000 meter peaks. 4 are Shaurya Chakra awardees. 4 are Tenzing Norgay Adventure awardees. Half of them have got the Chief of Army Staff or Vice Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award. And not nearly, all of them do this with great amount of passion. And I want to share with you guys the secret. The secret is live your passion. Because passion in the beginning will be about joy and fun. Then your passion will be about joy and content. But let your passion challenge you. When you let it challenge you, it'll help you build your confidence. It'll help you discover yourself. And once you learn about yourself more, you will love yourself more. You'll be more confident. You will go to bigger heights. And let your passion then truly along the way lead to a greater purpose. Whatever it is, whether it's small, whether it's cooking for somebody, whether it's saving a life. Because finally, all journeys start and end there, which is when you live your moments with absolute passion. Thank you.